Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Traletta Banks, and I am a member of Reentry Housing Alliance. And we are here today to talk about the Second Chance Act that just passed that will take place starting next month. And we have Miss Lashieka Hardin here with us,
Mhm.
um, who will be giving us some insight on this new bill. And good morning, Lashieka. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. And I just want to allow you a moment to introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay. So my name is Lashieka Hardin, and I am an attorney with Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy. Right now, I lead the Community Redevelopment Project, which focuses on a few things, but primarily I focus on expunctions and driver's license restoration work. I'm a pretty recent law school graduate. I graduated from Carolina in 2019, May 2019. So I'm a little new to the legal profession, but I am happy to be here and to make a difference in as many ways as I can. And I'm happy that you all chose to have me here to talk to you about the Second Chance Act today.
Thank you, and we appreciate you being here. Um, could you tell us to get started? Could you tell us a little bit about the Second Chance Act and how it came about?
Of course. Yeah, so a little bit about the Second Chance Act. It was pretty much a bipartisan effort by a lot of stakeholders in North Carolina. I would say the main stakeholders that played a tremendous part in getting the Second Chance Act passed would be the NC Justice Center and the Second Chance Alliance. And the Second Chance Alliance is composed of stakeholders who are very interested in reentry work, from formerly incarcerated persons to leaders of other nonprofit organizations to attorneys. It's really just a group of stakeholders who have an interest in reentry work. And then there's the NC Justice Center, which does a lot. They have I can't think of the name. It may be it's like a fair chance unit. And it's a unit of attorneys, and they focus primarily on getting laws passed. So they do a little bit of lobbying, but they also do just some efforts to get mass relief in expunctions in driver's license work. And so they really, really did a great job of getting bipartisan support for the Second Chance Act. And this was passed in 2020, June of 2020.
Great. Now, let me ask you this, Lashika. How would this bill affect someone like myself who has a criminal background, who the background may be years old? How would this benefit me and some others by this bill being passed?
Of course. Yeah. So this bill is act now. It benefits you and others because it expands expunction relief in North Carolina. Previously, we saw a lot of clients come in who we may have been able to assist with getting their dismissals expunged. But a lot of the times, due to the narrowness of the way the law was, a lot of people weren't eligible to get those convictions expunged from their records. With the Second Chance Act, it's expanded expunction laws in three or four main ways. So one way that it expanded expunction laws in North Carolina is that, so prior to the Second Chance Act, if you had been convicted of a felony, you were not able to even expunge your dismissed charges. If the underlying felony wasn't, if you weren't able to get that felony expunged at one point, then you weren't able to expunge any of your dismissed charges at all. Now with the Second Chance Act, you are allowed to expunge any number of dismissed charges that you have, and they don't look at if you've been convicted of a felony anymore. So that benefits so many people, and it is expanded expunction relief. You still do need an attorney to file, or you can use an attorney, or you can file it yourself. But as of December 1st, and that went into effect yesterday. So different portions of the law went into effect at different times. So the portion where you can expunge, your dismissed charges, even if you've been convicted of a felony, went into effect on December 1, 2020. There's another portion of the law that's going to go into effect December 1st, 2021, where you're not even going to need an attorney to petition to expunge your dismissed charges or not guilty charges. You can, as of December 1st, 2021, you'll be able to expunge your dismissed charges as a matter of law. So they'll dismiss them for you if you have any dismissed charges in North Carolina. And also, another part of the law that expanded was the allowance for you to expunge multiple nonviolent misdemeanors. Prior to the Second Chance Act, you couldn't do that. If you were convicted, you really could only expunge one nonviolent misdemeanor at a time. So if you had multiple, then you would be barred from expunging those other convictions. But now with the Second Chance Act, you're able to expunge multiple nonviolent misdemeanors. The difference is that they will ask that 7 years has passed from your last conviction and that your sentence is complete. But if that is the case, then you are able to expunge your multiple misdemeanor convictions, nonviolent. And I think the key to the Second Chance Act is to remember the term nonviolent. And that is a legal term of art, because if you take a look at the statute, certain convictions are excluded from the term nonviolent. By certain convictions, I mean, if you have something on your record that you were convicted of that includes assault as an essential element, if it's one of the more serious felonies, class A through G felonies, if it's class A1 misdemeanor, so that's going to be something like, I think, child abuse and if you violate some type of domestic violence protective order, that's considered a class A1 misdemeanor. So if you have things like that on your record, or you've been convicted of a sex offense, or possession with intent to sell and deliver cocaine, anything involving methamphetamines or heroin, if you have something like that on your record and you've been convicted of it, that's considered an exception to the term nonviolent. You probably should speak with an attorney because you may not be eligible for an expunction. Another major part of the Second Chance Act dealt with juveniles. People who, and this went into effect as soon as it was passed. So that went into it was kind of retroactive because they had raised the age a few years before, but there were some youth who were kind of caught in the middle of that. And so they included this with the Second Chance Act. And so if you've ever been convicted of a crime at the age of 16 or 17, and that's any misdemeanor or a class H or I felony, so again, a nonviolent felony, then you can petition the court as well to get those charges expunged from your record. And you won't need the affidavits, character affidavits that usually go with when you're trying to expunge a conviction. You will just be able to file that petition, serve the district attorney, and pay the filing fee, and you can get your convictions when you were 16 or 17 expunged with the Second Chance Act. And the only last few things, I'm sorry, I know it's a lot, but with the multiple, when you're expunging multiple nonviolent misdemeanors, that part of the law went into effect yesterday as well. So the dismissing any amount of charges, even with the felony, and then the multiple nonviolent misdemeanors, expunging those, that went into effect yesterday. The raise the age part for the underage offenders, that has been in effect. And then the one part that we're waiting on is next year, when you won't be petitioning the court anymore. They'll be automatically expunging your dismissed charges.
Great information. I've actually learned something today. So you've given us a lot of information.
Yeah,
So
can
you please tell us where we can go, where our viewers can go and get more information on this and get the steps on what they need to do to get this done for themselves?
Sure, yeah. So if some of the viewers want to do this pro se, which means they want to do this, by themselves without an attorney, there are a few nonprofit organizations who have excellent pro se resources online for you. I can think of Legal Aid. Legal Aid per county, Legal Aid has a packet online. If you probably just Google expunction, pro se, legal aid, I'm sure you can find it online. And you would just click on the county and they kind of give you instructions on how you would file this by yourself. I'm not sure if they've included Second Chance Act yet with it, but it's a great resource for you. The Southern Coalition for Social Justice, that's a nonprofit organization in Durham, North Carolina, and they just released a packet that again walks you through how to do this by yourself.
Okay.
So you want to take a look at that. If you're a Mecklenburg County resident, then you want assistance from an attorney and you want it for free, you're free to call the Charlotte Center for Legal Advocacy, because we do expunctions. Mecklenburg County residents under 200% of the poverty line. If that applies to you, then you can call our hotline. Someone will call you back. We'll do an intake. Then your record will be run, and I will make the determination as to whether you're eligible for an expunction, or someone else on my staff will do that for you. So you have quite a bit of resources to assist you with this expunction process.
Okay. And now, is there a way that you can supply us with that number if someone needs to call that hotline?
Of course, yeah, that number is going to be 704 376 1600, extension 510.
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
Mhm.
Lashieka. And we
Problem.
really, really appreciate all the information that you've given us on this matter, because it's huge in our state, and it's going to open up a lot of doors for um, individuals with criminal backgrounds. Now, one more last question.
Mhm.
Could you tell us, if someone is successful um, with their expungement, what could this do? What could this bill help them have more access to?
Right. If they're successful, then this essentially erases the criminal record from public records. Now, there are still a few people, what I didn't talk to you about was the Second Chance Act kind of expanded who still have access to be able to see it. It's mostly like the prosecutor and people like that, so they'd be able to see it. But when you're applying for jobs, when you're applying for housing, when you're applying for school licensing programs, things like that, they won't be able to see. And you can truthfully, once you have that order back from the court that says, your record has been expunged, you can truthfully say that you have not even been charged with whatever it was that you got expunged from your record. So an expunction, if you're eligible, is major, because it really gives you that second chance and that fresh start if you're able to get everything off your record, because you don't have to say that you've done this anymore.
Exactly.
And no one, or everyday lay private person won't be able to see it either.
Exactly. Great information. We really, really appreciate you coming on here today, leaving it all on the floor, because this is a subject that gets so discombobulated with they said, she said, he said, and then no one knows the exact instructions or the exact steps to take
Sure.
for their record. And we really appreciate you on today.
Of course, happy to be here and happy to assist.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you.